as he marked his 60th birthday anniversary with a well attended colloquium in Kaduna on Saturday. Former Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, has said that Nigeria has a problem as the country has not made any economic progress in the last 40 years. The former Central Bank of Nigeria CBN governor said that the 50% progress that was recorded in 35 years in Nigerians' GDP per capita has been reversed between 2014 and 2019. He also noted that the poor economic state of Nigeria is responsible for 70% of the challenges facing the country today, from banditry to kidnapping, farmer herders clashes, and even the agitations for the restructuring. Emir Sanusi, who said he had been called many names and even paid a price for speaking up on the state of the nation, said he cannot afford to be a conformist in a society that is so abnormal, as doing so means that things will not change. He said, as His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, said recently, this country has a problem. We cannot ignore the fact that things are not working. When you are in a society that is so abnormal, you cannot afford to be a conformist. Because if you all conform, things will not change. Many years ago, when I was screaming about the billions being spent on fuel subsidy, I remember there was an attempt to attack my house in Kano. Then I was in the CBN. Where are we today? We are face to face with the reality that fuel subsidy is unsustainable. Now, when the decision is taken, it will be more painful than if they had removed it 5 or 10 years ago. I only speak to the best of my understanding, what I see about the country, but I have paid the price. But Nigerians are the ones paying the real price. It is the price you see in the increased poverty, it is the price you see in the increased insecurity and high rate of inflation, in loss of value of our currency, and the numbers around malnutrition, unemployment, out of school children, maternal mortality, and infant mortality. Calling me controversial, calling me an enemy or critic will not make those facts go away. So, anywhere we go, we must face these facts. Am I happy about it on my 60th birthday? No, because 60 years ago, when I was born, the United States government advisory was telling investors that Nigeria has a better economic future than Japan. Today, where are we and where is Japan? It is not about one or two governments. It's about decades of people throwing away opportunities. And every time we are given a chance to make a change, we go back to the same old things. And when I have a platform like this, I have to talk. I've tried not to say much, not because there's nothing to say or because I'm afraid of speaking. The reason I've not spoken much in the last 2 years is because I don't even have to say anything anymore because all the things we were warning about have come. In 1980, Nigeria's GDP per capita on purchasing power parity basis was $2,180. In 2014, it appreciated by 50% to $3,099. According to the World Bank, where were we in 2019? $2,229. At this rate, in the next 2 years, in terms of purchasing power parity, the average income of a Nigerian would have gone back to what it was in 1980 under Shehu Shagari. That means in 40 years, no progress. We made zero progress, 40 years wasted. Between 2014 and 2019, on the basis of this index of purchasing power of the average income of an average Nigeria, we have wiped up all the progress made in 35 years. We have a responsibility as a people to rise and improve the lives of the people of this country. It is no longer about governments, political parties, traditional rulers, emirs. The days are gone of saying one class of people, whether they are emirs or civil servants, cannot talk. When there is fire, everyone has to go with a bucket of water. While stressing the need for Nigerians to understand how the nation's economy works, the 14th Emir of Kano said, 70% of our challenges in this country, from insecurity to header farmers' clashes, all have their roots in economy. Even this shout about restructuring is about economics. It is about resources. We need to grow this economy and make it work for the poor people. He also blamed the security challenges of banditry and kidnapping on the wrong social system adopted by the people of the North, where he said people have larger family than they can cater for. He noted that children left uneducated, untrained, have become problems to the region, engaging in drugs, stealing, and kidnapping. According to him, since I'm wearing two caps as an economics and as an Islamic scholar, I need to say that at the level of the North and Muslims, we need to look hard at ourselves and question the choices we have made. As Emir of Kano, we got scholars to sit for 3 years. We drafted a Muslim code of personal status that began to address some of these issues. That law was ready in 2019, but it has not been passed. I also sent it to the chairman of the Northern States Governors Forum, the governor of Plateau State, and said, in case any of the governors need it, give it to them. I've not heard anything, but we keep talking about poverty in the north. We keep talking about Amajiri. These Amajiri did not produce themselves. If they cannot maintain one wife and you marry three, if you cannot maintain 3 children and you have 17, if you leave those children on the streets without education, without training, you are going to have young men that will be problem to our society. The youth that you see on drugs, those in stealing and kidnapping are all products of that social system. And we need to ask ourselves, is this what Islam said we should have? Are these the children that Islam said we should have? Speaking about his days as CBN governor and the reforms he undertook, Sanusi said he brought down many corrupt bank CEOs, some of who eventually went to jail. If there's anything that I have to share with the younger generation, especially that I now consider myself getting old, is that the fears that we are grossly unfounded. As Kingsley said, when we started the banking reforms, on the eve of the banking reforms, every day, on the front pages of the newspaper, the bank CEO were at the villa. They were the friends of the president. They were oligarchs. They were untouchables. I remember when we started going after the bankers, someone called me and said, you know, you are a young man. You don't know what you are doing. You will not succeed. What have we done today? So far, 3 or 4 of the wealthiest and powerful bank CEOs in the country have gone to jail and nothing happened. You can fight any system. You don't need a large number of people. People can have temporary powers to use, but the truth will always prevail. So when I was suspended as CBN governor, I made a famous statement that you can suspend a man, but you cannot suspend the truth. And this is the truth that has come out. I told my family during a dinner to mark my birthday that maybe one of the reasons that I'm able to face any challenge is that I know that no matter what happens, there will be friends who are standing waiting for me. Nasi El-Rufai, Bukola Saraki, Albert Uigwe, AIG, Imoekede, Aliko Dangote, all of them. So it is a blessing to have people who are with you in good times and bad times, who are with you and for you. Usually, when people gather like this, it is for either someone who is in office or someone who is dead. You leave office, especially when you are seen as a troublemaker, people don't gather to honor you. So it is what I remain grateful to Allah for. So, what I will say briefly in all these 60 years is that my dream in life has always been to remain the same person, to live by the values I set for myself and stand by those values and be ready to face the consequences, he said. Many speakers at the event held at the Umaru Musayyar Adua Hall, Muritala Square, Kaduna, extolled the virtues of the former CBN governor and 14th Emir of Kano, describing him as an icon of reforms. Both Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and his Sokoto State counterpart Aminu Waziri Tambuwa described Sanusi as a gift to Nigeria considering his contributions to human development. Governor Tambuwa said Emir Sanusi has been a very outspoken and distinguished Nigerian who practiced activism where activism is not tolerated. In his own view, the keynote address speaker and former CBN Deputy Governor Professor Kingsley Moghalu described Sanusi as a man full of ideas who changed the Nigerian financial system for good and in touch with the global practices.